Alright, so this is worksheet 5.1 fractions. Okay, I noticed some of you might have a bit of problems with this, so I'll go through step by step for your future revision. Okay, if you all remember previously how we used the highlighter to highlight the important things, right? So I'm going to do that again for this tutorial because a lot of you might have forgotten, especially when it comes to fractions word problems. Some of the things might get a bit difficult. Alright, so you have to really start highlighting and pull out the main points one by one to fit them into your model. Okay, so we're going to start question 1. Hafiz had 1/5 kg of rice. He gave his sister 1/6 of his rice. How much rice had Hafiz left? Okay, so for this case, you will see, right, this here Hafiz had, just give me a moment. Okay, so over here Hafiz has 1/5 kg of rice. This is a quantity because there's a unit over here. Alright, you see there's a unit over here. Okay, this kg. And for over here, he gave his sister 1/6 of his rice. Okay, so in another color, this does not have a unit. Alright, so if it doesn't have a unit, you have to use the model to solve it. It's 1 part out of 6. Okay, so let's start with this. Right, it's black. Hafiz had 1/5 kg of rice. That's a quantity. He gave his sister 1/6 of his rice. Alright, if I'm going to draw a model, you only draw it for the one of the parts. Quantities, you don't draw a model. Alright, so it will look something like this. Okay, draw a model. And this is Hafiz. Alright, divide it into 6 parts. Okay, so the top part here, you get 1/5 kg belongs to the entire quantity that Hafiz has. Now the next part, he gave his sister 1/6 of his rice. So this 1/6 is actually just one small part. So I'll put here S. Okay, 1/6. How much rice had Hafiz left? Okay, so I know previously we went through a review in class. I realized that I made a mistake. I didn't see that there's no kg here. Alright, so the working from that one and from this one will be a bit different. Okay, from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 units will be equals to 1/5 kg. 1 unit. Okay, you have to divide this by 6. Okay, so basically it will just be multiplied by 1/6. Alright, so you get 1/5 kg multiplied by 1/6. Now actually this portion here is actually a division. If you go by, you have something like this. Okay, but for primary 5 you haven't learned how to divide, how to take a fraction and divide it by a number. Alright, so for this case, because you can use a calculator, see I'm underlining it over here. Okay, just press a calculator. Okay, don't worry about the working. Alright, and here actually you'll be getting 1/30. Alright, so this should be 1 unit. Now how much rice had Hafiz left? Okay, so this is 1 unit, and therefore Hafiz has 5 units left. You get 1/30 kg multiplied by 5 for the 5 units. 5/30, and you're going to simplify that. You get 1/6 kg. Take note, this is a quantity. Yeah. Alright, so that's the answer for the first question. Second question, Bob sold 1/5 of the pies in the morning and 1/4 of the pies in the afternoon. If he had 121 pies left, how many pies did he have at first? Okay, so 1/5 of the pies in the morning. That's the first piece of information. Second piece will be 1/4 of the pies in the afternoon. Okay, and lastly, the last piece of information here would be he had 121 pies left. How many pies did he have at first? Okay, so now we've got enough information to draw the model. Now take note that Bob sold 1/5 of the pies in the morning and 1/4 of the pies in the afternoon. So this belongs to the entire quantity of pies that he had at first, which is 1 whole. Alright, when you're going to deal with 2 different fractions like this that's supposed to be on one model, which is part of the 1 whole, you have to make them into the same denominator first, so that you can divide them equally to the number of parts that you want. Alright, so for this case, Bob sold 1 over 5 of the pies in the morning, and 1 over 5 and 1 quarter. Okay, you have to change them to same denominator. So the 5 you have to multiply it by 4, and you get 4 over 20. Alright, and for this, the 1 quarter, you multiply the top and bottom by 5, you get 5 over 20. Now you see they have the same denominator. We can start drawing our model. Now please take note for this kind of questions, it's not all of them that you need to draw a model. Okay, you don't require to draw a model for everything. In fact, you can do it without a model. It might actually be better in the sense that you are wasting less time trying to draw the model. But of course, if you have problems understanding, then always be safe, draw the model. Okay, so now I'm going to draw the model, and I'm going to split it into 20 parts. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 20 units over here now. Alright, so now we're going to take this portion here. Okay, this portion here and this portion here. We're going to fit them into the diagram. Okay, of course, the top one over here, it belongs to morning. This one is morning. Okay, morning. And this one is afternoon. Okay, so I'm just going to use M and A. Alright, 4 of them is in the morning. I got a 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, belongs to M. Okay, and then 5 of them belongs to afternoon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Afternoon. Here 121 pies left, so we are going to mark out this. Now we have to find out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 units left, so we just go directly. 11 units will be equals to 1 to 1. 1 unit equals to 11. And finally, to find how many pies you had at first, you just have to take the total number of units, which is 20. 20 units, you get 220 units. Alright, let's move on to question 3. Now, question 3 here says that 2/3 of the boys, 2/3 of a class are boys. Okay, and 1/4 of the boys wear glasses. What fraction of the class are boys who wear glasses? Alright, if you're going to be drawing a model, it will look like this. Okay, first you're going to draw a model. Alright, and then since it said 2/3 are boys, so we're going to split it into 1 part, 2 parts, 3 parts. Alright, and it says that 2/3 are boys. Okay, so this one will be boys. Alright, the rest have to be girls. And 1/4 of the boys wear glasses. Alright, now you see here we have a total of 2 units which belongs to the boys. Alright, so these 2 units is actually 2 over 2, which are boys. Okay, if you're just looking at boys. Alright, so the thing is, now we have to get 1/4 of these 2 units. 1/4 is 1 part out of 4. Okay, so when you have 1 part out of 4, you have to split these 2 units into 4 units. Alright, so that you can get the 1 part out of 4. In this case, you're just going to chop each unit into half. Alright, so you get 1, 2, 3, 4 units now in the boys. Okay, and don't forget, because we want to make them all into equal units, the girls, which previously was 1 big fat unit, okay, now the girls will get split into 2, and now the girls will have 2 units of these small ones, which actually makes up to 1 big one. So once you have completed this model, okay, very simply you can see 1/4 of the boys wear glasses. Right, so here I'm just going to put a G for glasses. What fraction are boys who wear glasses? Alright, so now all you have to do is count. Total units now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. Okay, so the denominator has to be a 6. And the fraction of the class are boys who wear glasses. We just have to look for the glasses one, which is over here. Okay, over here. So now we will have just 1 unit out of the total of 6 units. 1 over 6 is the answer. Okay, alternatively, if you want to do a simple working, 2/3 are boys, 1/4 of the boys. Okay, so you know this is 1/4 of the 2/3. If you want to do it, the simplest way of doing, right, is you can just take 2 over 3 times 1 over 4, which will give you 1 over 6 immediately. Alright, now this working is only if you really understand it very well, because sometimes when you do such simple workings, you might not realize that it's supposed to you might not realize how do you actually derive this working, and it's very easy to get careless mistakes over here. Okay, so if you don't understand, draw the model. If you understand, go ahead straight away, do this very simple 2/3 times 1/4, but make sure you know what you're doing, or not I would rather you draw the model. Okay, moving on to question 4. Jason sold 1/5 of the pies in the morning and 1/4 of the remaining pies in the afternoon. Now please remember what I told you all. Whenever you see the word remaining, please underline it. Okay, it's very, very important. I'm not only going to underline it, I'm going to highlight it as well. Right, remaining, super important because it changes how the entire question is being done. Now, Jason sold 1/5 of the pies in the morning. Okay, let's highlight that. First piece of information. Second piece of information, 1/4 of the remaining pies in the afternoon. Okay, so I'm just going to do this in red again. Afternoon, okay, 1/4 of the remaining pies. Alright, if he had 120 pies left, how much pies do you have at first? So the last bit of information is here. He had 120 pies left. Okay, let's start drawing our model. First, we're going to start by drawing a big whole model, 1/5 of the pies in the morning. Alright, now remember this is what we call the prawn tail model because it has to do remainder. Okay, it's alright if you understand. If you don't understand, then I mean, you can think of it in another way. Vegetarians in my class, they like to call it celery. Okay, same thing. It just means that one part is a bit different than the rest of the parts, and that part is not considered a unit method. Alright, so here let's start. Okay, in the morning, he sold 1/5 of the total number of pies. So first we're going to divide this into 5 parts. Right, 1/5 of the pies in the morning, so 1/5. Okay, and 1/4 of the remaining pies. Now we are lucky because here it says 1/4. If you notice here, right, okay, the remaining part, we're only looking at this portion here. Now please take note of the one that I'm highlighting. Okay, this pink color one is the remaining. Alright, the little m at the end there, okay, has been left out already because it's not part of the remaining. So now we're only doing the pink color one. Alright, it's as good as just erasing off that little m over there and just working the pink color part. Alright, in this case, alright, it says that 1/4 remaining pies was sold in the afternoon, and you see just nice the remaining has already been split into 4 parts. So for this kind of questions, it's very straightforward and you're very lucky. So all you have to do is take 1 part out of 4 of this remaining, and it belongs to afternoon. Now, if you have 120 pies left, okay, how many pies do you have at first? Alright, so here, very clear cut, we can see that 3 units will be equals to 120. You want to find what's the total number of pies you had at first. You got to find what's 1 unit first. 1 unit will be 120 divided by 3, you get 40. Finally, we've got to find all 5 units, and this will give you 200. Alright. Okay, I'm going to move on to question... Did I miss out any questions? No, there's 4. Question 5. At a match, there were 32,000 spectators. 2/5 of the spectators were women, and 1/10 were men, and the rest were children. If 5/8 of the children were boys, how many girls were there? Okay, highlight the important points first. 32,000 spectators tells you the total. Alright, next piece of information. 2/5 of the spectators were women. Okay, next bit of information. 1/10 were men, and the rest, okay, sorry, 1/10 were men. Right, let's use different color. Rest were children. If 5/8 of the children were boys, how many girls were there? Okay, so this again is also another piece of information. So you see, do not fear this kind of questions. It looks like there's a lot of information, but in reality, the more information they give, the easier for you to do, because the less you have to find out. So all you have to do is put all these numbers into your model. Okay, so here, do you notice whether there's any remaining? Do you? No, you see there's no remaining, right? So it says that very straightforwardly, okay, women, alright, women is 2/5. Sorry, it should be 5. Okay, and it says here that men has to be how much? 1/10, and the rest were children. So how do we find what the children were? Okay, now to find how many children were there, right? Okay, first we have to take 1 whole minus the women minus the men to find how many children there are. But you see it, we were like, so you should look something like this. 1 minus 2/5 minus 1/10, which is the men. Okay, so to find how many children, first we have to change common denominator. In this case, we will change it to a base of a 10. Okay, 1 we'll change it to 1 whole, we'll change it to 10/10, minus 4/10. Okay, minus 1/10. We're just changing the 2/5 into a 4/10. Okay, from here we will get 5/10. Okay, now 5/10 were children, so this is actually half. Alright, now if we were to simplify, it will be like this. Okay, now we're going to start drawing a model from the children, with what we have about the children. Okay, so you want to draw a model. Okay, you know half belongs to children. Okay, now we know that this side is the men and the women. Alright, men and women. Okay, and this one is children. Okay, so we're just going to work the children portion. 5/8 were boys. Alright, so now all we need to do is change this into 8 units. Okay, and 5/8 were boys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now they want you to find how much is the girls, which is the remaining here. Okay, so basically you want to find what the 3 units over there. Now take note, every time you split this, right, okay, you have to make sure that you split the rest equally as well. So this one you also got to split into 8 units. Alright, and this one okay, is actually the men and the women add together. Okay, I know it looks a bit different, but actually when you take 2/5 plus the 1/10, it's actually 5/10. Okay, so once you have this, right, okay, you can start working out the things here. Alright, we know that the whole thing, we know that the whole thing is actually 32,000 spectators altogether. Alright, so we have 32,000 spectators altogether. We can see here that since you split each of these halves into 8, there's 8 on the right and there's 8 on the left, so you got 16 units altogether. You know that 16 units will be equals to 32,000. Alright, and 1 unit will be equals to 2,000. Okay, and from here we just have to find the 3 units at the end there. 3 units will be equals to 6,000. So there are altogether 6,000 girls. Alright, this is the final answer. Okay, it's a bit confusing because first if you did it the other way of just drawing 10 units, right, after that you have to split. If you started by drawing like 10 units and then you started to mark out the 1 unit belonging to the men and 4 units belonging to the women, right, you have this problem of how you're going to do this 5/8 up here. Alright, because you have to split the remaining 5 units into 8 units, which means you're going to subdivide them all together into 40 parts. Can be kind of a hassle there. Still doable, but it's a hassle. Alright, so in this case, you're always wanting to draw the simplest model that you can. Okay, so this would probably be one of the best models. Alright, now we look at question 6. Mrs. Tan spent half of her money on a dress and 1/4 remaining on a belt. Okay, so this is another remaining question. Remember, it's like a fishtail. Alright, I'm going to highlight and I'm going to underline to show you how important is it. Okay, so now that I got this, I'm going to start highlighting all my other information here. Okay, first piece of information, Mrs. Tan spent half of her money on a dress. Okay, half on a dress. Next piece of information, she spent 1/4 of the remainder on a belt. Okay, last piece of information is she had $120 left. How much money did she have at first? Alright, so here we're going to be drawing a model. Oops, it's in red. Never mind, let's keep it in red. Half on the dress, okay? and 1/4 of the remainder on the belt. Okay, so this is the remainder. We're going to split it into 4 parts because we want to make it 1 out of 4. Remember, we're only dealing the remainder. Again, let me just highlight here the remainder over here. Okay, this is the remainder. Alright, so we're only going to be working that part. So if that's the case, we are going to start drawing. Oops, black. Okay, I'm going to start. Oh no, so big. Smaller. Okay, we're going to start drawing this. Okay, I split it into 4 parts because you want to make that remainder into 1 out of 4 parts. So here you got 4 parts ready. 1 part will belong to the belt. 3 small parts are remaining. Now for this kind of models, because you see the division of the parts is quite easy, so you can actually straightforwardly just divide the rest of it into equal parts as well. So now we got 1 unit, okay, of that belongs to the belt. Alright, and we got half of the money on the dress. Okay, whatever that's left, there has to be these 3 units over here, and these 3 units has to be 120 kg. Alright, so here we get 3 units equals to 120. 1 unit will therefore be equals to 40. And you want to find how much money she had at first, you've got to find what's the total, which is now 8 units. 8 units will therefore be equals to 3,200. Alright, as easy as that. Okay, let me just check what's the total number of questions. Okay, 7, so just the last question to go. Hakim saved $150 every month for 2 years. He then used 4/9 of the savings to buy a DVD player and 2/5 of the remaining to buy a television. He gave away 3/5 of the remaining savings, equally to 36 residents of a welfare home. How much did each resident receive from him? Okay, so let's start by highlighting the main points out. Okay, first we know that Hakim saved $150 for 2 years. Okay, next we know that he then used 4/9 of the savings to buy a DVD player. Okay, and next he used 2/5 of the remaining to buy a TV. Now again, you see the word remaining. I'm going to underline it because it's very, very important. Alright, he gave away 3/5 of the remaining savings. Okay, see there's another remaining over there. Gave away 3/5 of the remaining savings, equally to 36 residents. Okay, how much did each resident receive from him? So let's do this step by step now. Alright, first we have to work with the purple color part over here, this whole part over here. $150 every month for 2 years. Now this is an indication of telling you what's the total amount. It does not directly tell you that Hakim saved this big amount of money. It's telling you that he saved 150 every month for 2 years, which means that here you have to do a bit of thinking here. How do you find the total amount from this? Alright, each month he saved 150. 1 year has how many months? He has 12 months. Okay, so 2 years altogether has 24 months, right? So here, what we have to do here is we just have to take the 150, alright, multiply by the 24 months. Okay, it will get, let me just do, because my calculator is not with me, 10, 1, 2, 2, 4, 0, 360. Okay, so this one would be, let me just check, 24 times 5, 120, 24 times 1 is 240, 360. Okay, very good. So I'm going to erase this. This is 360. Remember, for money, a dollar sign has to always be there. Okay, sorry, this 3,600. This will be the total. So now we know the total here is actually 3,600. Once you have this, right, we don't really need to care about like how many months anymore, you know. So here, now we're going to start drawing our model. Okay, I'm going to draw a big model over here. Okay, draw a big model over here, and this whole model is 3,600. as what we discovered just now. Alright, now he used 4/9 of the savings to buy a DVD player. So we're going to split this, alright, into 9 parts. Alright, now we have 9 parts. He used 4/9 of the savings to buy a DVD player. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 over 9 is a DVD. Okay, so remaining we have 5 parts left, and 2/5 of the remainder to buy a television. Alright, now we see that the remainder here, we're actually looking at this part here, which is the remainder. Huh? So once we're looking at this part, the rest of it, we're not going to bother, we're just going to cover it up. Okay, so here 2/5 is split into 5 units. Can I just check the remainder? Is it split into 5 units? Yes, just nice. You see? Split into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. So from here, you don't have to draw anything special. We don't have to redivide the models. We can straight away say that 2/5 of the remainder you used to buy a TV. So 2/5 will just be 2 units here, and this will be the TV. He gave away 3/5 of the remaining savings. Okay, now this is the part here. The remaining savings will be here. Okay, he gave 3/5 of it equally to 36 residents, our welfare home. Okay, so now you see here the base of this 3/5 is actually 5, and we are supposed to split this into 5 units. However, here there are 3 units, and it's not easy to split the 3 units into 5 units. Alright, so what we can do here, okay, we can draw another model below that's exactly the same as the one on top. Alright, so it will look like this. See, it's actually the same. Alright, it's the same, exactly the same. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be separating this part of the working from the main part. Alright, and from here we're going to be looking at this as we're going to split it into 5 units. We don't care how the on top looks like, we're going to draw 5 units. Alright, now once we have 5 units here, he gave away 3/5 of the remaining savings equally to 36 residents. So this is 36 residents. Okay, 36 residents are. Okay, how much did each resident receive? Okay, so basically what we need to do, we've got to find out what is this 1, 2, 3 units. Alright, so what we can do here, okay, we can straight away, alright, we want to find out what's this 5 units here, this 5 units here, the small one over here. We want to find out what's the total for this. Once we can find out what's the total for this, we can find out what is this 3 small units over here. Okay, so we are going to start working our way right from the top. Okay, we know that in total they are altogether $3,600 for these 9 big units, right? So for these 9 big units, I'll just do it like this. Okay, 9 big units is 3,600. 1 unit will therefore be divided by 9, you get 400. Okay, and from here you are supposed to find what is the remainder 3 units left. Okay, so from here we can just find the 3 units. The 3 units that we're finding is actually the pink color one minus the TV, which is actually this portion. Okay, this portion is actually considered the remainder. Okay, so we're going to find the 3 units will be equals to 1,200. Now once you have this 1,200, okay, we know that now this portion here, the 3 units, right, is 1,200. Now if we are not just going to cover up the big model on top, we look at the model below, the smaller 5 units one, right? Okay, from here we can derive that 5 units, okay, is actually 1,200. But take note, remember that if you're using the unit method here, okay, if you're going to use a unit method somewhere here again for the smaller units, right, it's going to be very confusing for the examiner to mark because they don't know which one is the units. So from here, actually what you can do, okay, 2 ways you can do it. You can either change this and say, you can either label this and say this is the maybe you can call it the main units in the big model. Okay, this one way you can do it by categorizing them into different ones and making sure the examiner knows what you're doing. Another way of doing this is just basically instead of using unit method for the next one, okay, we just straight away use fractions. In this case, alright, it says here they're all together 5 units, and because there are 5 units, the base has to be 5. And now if you're looking at total, it has to be 5 over 5. 5 over 5, remember when using units, you have to use the arrow. Okay, you cannot use the equal sign. Equal sign is only for units. So 5 over 5 now will be equals to 1,200. Okay, and from here you want to find unit. 1 unit. 1 unit is actually 1 over 5, right? It's 1 unit out of 5 units. Okay, so we can find that. We will get 240. Okay, once you get this, okay, you can find what is 3 units. Okay, 3 units is basically the portion that you want to find, the 36R. Okay, so here you just got to take 240 multiplied by 3. You will get 720. Okay, are we done? No, we are not, because here the question says how much did each resident receive from him. Okay, so now this $720 belongs to 36 residents, correct? So we want to find what is one resident. We want to find out what's one resident. Okay, now from here to here, we divide it by 36. Correct? Which means that if you're going to do the same thing on the left side, we have to divide this by 36 as well to make it fair. So when we divide it by 36, you will realize that 720 divided by 36 is $20. Therefore, each resident receives $20. Okay? Yep. So here your answer will be $20. Alright. I hope this help you to understand, and it will help you in your future exams. Okay, so that's the end of this tutorial.